circle, just remember, death doesn't end anything. It's just a change of body. All of those anxieties and struggles and everything you face, they're coming from the mind. And they're carried with you. So last week I was thinking, I don't want to do anything big. I just want to meditate on what's the next thing to do. Is it time to go to a big place and do something, or is it time to still we still need to boil the milk or do that? I was kind of meditating, so I just prayed a bit more, and it makes such a difference actually. And I had this realization that we don't need things to be happy. We just need to focus on the right things to be happy. It's not a substance or an object that you need that will change how you feel. It's actually doing what you're doing for the right reason, especially for somebody who's practicing bhakti, just chanting with more attention and reading with more intention can completely change how you feel about the world. You don't have to change. And I also met with my music teacher, who's a very brilliant personality. He's been a monk for 50 plus years, and really amazing personality. He lives in St. Augustine and he travels the world. And so he was just, I was telling him, he was saying, sthane sthito, stay where you are. Sthane means where you are. Sthito means stay. Stay where you are. Sthane sthito. Shruti gato. You start hearing the right thing from your ears. Shruti means listening. Shruti gato, tanvan manobhe. Through that, your mind starts to change and be situated properly. So you don't have to change your job position. I mean, unless in an exceptional situation, say you have a butcher's job, or something very intense that really is a disturbance that you can yourself see. Otherwise, something very intense. Otherwise, just do what you're doing, but add to it, the hearing of the holy name, the hearing of the Hare Krishna mantra, reading of the books. I saw you carried your book in, just reading, read 2 pages, read 5 pages, read every day. But when you start hearing and chanting, things begin to change. Oftentimes, and our theme today, I totally started in a completely different tangent than I was planning to, but I'll keep going with it. I was meditating this week a lot about life and death. And he sends me some topics all the time, these are what people are searching on YouTube, Google. And it prompted me. But I was thinking, we'll do a class on reincarnation, because that's what people talk about, reincarnation. And there's apparently people you can go to and pay some money, and they'll tell you what you were in your past life. Someone will tell you you're a pharaoh. Every second person's a queen or a king in their past life. Or anyone here been told that before? It's you'll get told, right? You're this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, they're taking a lot of money from the king and the queen. But anyways, people will tell you all these kind of things about your past lives, and oh, what's my potential for the future, and why am I like this, and all that is there. But I was thinking, take a different angle to it, because besides reincarnation, life and death also brings out a very practical thing. Many of you said the week was, like you said, up, down, left, right. You said reflections and time to relax. That means there was a time when it was not relaxing, right? So we all know life can be up, down, everything. Nobody here can say they don't struggle. And I was thinking, sometimes people think death is a solution to problems. It's a very sad reality. It's a very sad reality, but the idea enters the mind. You must have, maybe, I hope not, but maybe somebody who must have thought like that, or maybe you thought like that at some point. Again, like I always say, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but I just, as a human being, I know that things can get tough at times, can get really tough. And there's pain. People are experiencing pain. Ultimately, these acts are acts, they're crying out for help. However perverted a cry it is, and you may not understand it, neither may you know how to respond for it. It is actually a cry for help. That's right. Maybe whatever reasons. I can't give you the full reasons for it, but ultimately the person doesn't know what to do. That's why they're doing this, right? They don't know what to do. And I was thinking about it, maybe sometimes this idea, maybe we don't think like that, but maybe there is this idea that death can solve some problems. Have you ever thought like that even once in your life? So these are all really tough feelings. Our angle today, though, is not, you know, like a psychological angle, but I want to take a philosophical angle at it. And I want to tap into the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to really see what does the cycle of life and death actually teach us. Now, let's just, and for that, I'm kind of questioning our idea of death. That's my point. So, have a seat, Faith. So, for that reason, I'm questioning our idea of death. That's my whole point. That what is a deep rooted? We may say this, that, or the other. I'm not scared of death. I'm scared. I'm not scared. I don't care. I don't think about it. But we have some deep rooted subconscious ideas about it. There's a conscious reality in which we act, and but oftentimes our conscious actions are guided by our subconscious impressions, some of which we carry for multiple lifetimes. And education, like you brought up the university thing. Education isn't just something that happens in a classroom. It happens from things you see, behaviors you watch. A lot of it happens outside of classroom. Actually, you're like seeing people might say one thing, like parents might say never lie, but then every time someone comes home they lie about what they were doing, right? So what are you going to learn? You have that in Puerto Rico. It's just like, oh, don't say it. It happens in India all the time. One should never lie. Next time, so what were you doing? Oh, I was doing this. What did you just teach? So it's just a small thing, just a small example, the funny, harmless kind of an example. Everybody does that. But what do you really learn from that? It's okay to say that you don't, but then lie, because that in itself is a lie, anyways. So we have deep rooted impressions about things. And one of the impressions around death is that it's all over after that. Let's look at the Bhagavad Gita. And those of you who have Bhagavad Gita, take it out. Would you mind sharing the other one with other people? You got three. That's okay. I have more. Do you mind getting more from the garage? You can give these out to people who. Well, maybe you don't need. Maybe they have enough. Yeah, you can share. So you guys have. You can share one. Okay, yeah, you can take. So in and before we open it up, I want to explain this point that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, because we're thinking, death is the end. It says, Natevam jatu nasham. There was never a time that you did not exist. Nate me janadipa. There was never a time I did not exist. Very powerful 2 points. There was never a time I did not exist. There was never a time you did not exist. Now what do you do? This is a deep root. Because with all these different examples you guys were giving, if you noticed, we're like when I asked you guys how you were, how was the week, right? We we attribute problems to personality. As long as there's a person, there is a problem. And so when the person's gone, so-called, like the death has happened, problems are gone. This is impersonalism. This is called impersonalistic philosophy. Those of you who are reading Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada talks about this again and again. Impersonalism, impersonal. This is impersonalism. We think we come from nowhere, we go nowhere. It's just like, there's no supreme, everything's nothing, or like this. This is basically lack of knowledge. So deep down, we have the sense that our death will end it, but Krishna is saying there was never a time you did not exist. So then the question is, where was I before my birthday, which is, I don't know, 2nd January 1929, something like that. So where was I before that? If Krishna is saying, see, this is the way you read the Bhagavad Gita. You actually really think about what Krishna is saying. Nateham chatunasha nateme janadipa. Na bhavishyati. He says, never in the future will there be a time that we will not. He says, where was I before I was in this body? Let's look at that verse. Chapter 2, text 12, I think. Let me just see. Yep, text 12. Page 73. 73. So I'll read a little bit. That is okay. Natev nataveham jatu nasham natam tvameme janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam ata param. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So, then, what do you do about your problems? I don't know. What do you think? Hmm? You release them. Okay. What else? Hmm? Okay. It's not that important. What else? Okay. What else? Some of the others. What do you guys think? If I'm never gonna cease to be, what's gonna happen to my problems? Just wait. Just I want to give everyone a chance. Yeah, go ahead. Things transform. So you mean the problem will just go away itself? Don't relate, like she was saying, detach yourself. Okay. What do you think, Terry? What's the idea of a problem? Your idea of oh, so you will grow like that? So there's always going to be a problem. Different answers. Everyone's got a different like an idea, some sort of. But it does make. Can you see how it makes you question what happens to your problems? Now let me ask you a different question. Where are we experiencing the problem? This gross body, like the skin, the nose, the skin, the hair, like this gross body. It's just earth, water, fire, air, ether. This is not feeling the pain, right? This is not feeling the problem, right? Now, wait, the soul. Is the soul feeling the problem? No, because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the soul's the observer. Kshetragya, he says, the knower of the field, the body is the field, he says Kshetra, and the soul is the Kshetragya, the observer of the field. The soul doesn't interact with, it's not, the soul's not interacting with the matter. So then, where are we experiencing the problem? It's not a problem with the CPU, the core processing of the soul. It is not a problem with the hardware. Where is the problem? It's called the software, the mind. The mind, the intelligence, the false ego. These three things form the subtle body, which is where you're experiencing the so-called problem. The body has nothing to do with it. The soul has nothing to do with it. You, the soul, have absolutely nothing to do with it. I was reading a verse that actually blew my mind. It said the intelligence has three states: awake, dreaming, and deep sleep. That is dreamless sleep. They're the three states of the intelligence. And the soul, the eternal soul, has nothing to do with it. It's kind of like, it just blew my mind. So many people struggle with not being able to sleep, right? But it's just different states of the intelligence, different states. The soul proper has nothing to do with it. So even dreaming and sleep, nothing. The soul has nothing to do with it. So the soul's not really interacting with this material problems and getting. The soul's not affected if you have a job or not. The soul's not affected if you have a body or not. See, the soul's not. So it's in the mind alone that you're experiencing material. Material life is lived in the mind alone. Now we know that at the so-called time of death, the body is gonna go. That much we know, right? We all know that. But what happens to the subtle body? The soul, the one that you call a ghost. What is it? What is the ghost? It is the subtle body, the mind, intelligence, and the false ego. That is the ghost. So what happens to that? Absolutely nothing. When you purge the body, the subtle body is the one that drags the soul from this body to the next. So your problems are going right with you. You see, the problems are going. They're in. You may not remember James stole $5 from me, but you have not James. I'm just sorry, just making it up. I don't know, James, why I said that. I'm just making it up. It's a bad example. I don't know. Huh? I didn't know what else to say, it just came out. Like, I might not remember why James, took my $5, right? Huh? $5. Okay, so $10 extra. Why, So I may not remember that that's what James did, but I might have this I'll have this deep impression of having lost my $5 and be very miserly because I've got this thing. I'll lose. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not suffering from James. I'm suffering from the idea I lost something. You see, try to, when you were saying create a space, right? The best kind of space you can create is knowing that the soul has nothing to do with the matter and actually starting to see that the subtle body is kind of like its own character. That's how you create space. You start to see yourself as different from these things. So James did not cause me the problem. It is the mind that has this idea and it's like attached to it. This is my money. This is this. You're just like suffering like that. And then you think, and I don't have $5, so I'm just gonna I can't keep up with life. So when I'm there, it will be gone. Better, I'm just making a very simplistic example to make a point. But that mentality that I have developed of being miserly and attached to that $5, I'll carry it with me. And next life, I'll be in constant anxiety about losing money. You see? So my point, this is the science the Bhagavad Gita is explaining, that the subtle body is dragging the soul from one body to the other. So in your life, the way you act, you chisel your subtle body. Every action shapes your subtle body, shapes your mind, intelligence, and ego. And it's called the mentality or samskara, and you carry that mentality to the next body. And really what's driving behind all of this is unfulfilled desires. In life, we get a lot of pain. Why do we get pain? Because we want something and we don't get it. We have desires and don't fulfill. Pain usually has a purpose. Pain has a purpose to teach us. In life, as we feel pain, there might be like a friend, Terry might come and say, "Oh, Mangal-Arti, you're feeling pain, but let me help you. I can pick this up harmonium from here and I'll put it there." He can help me. Just, again, a simple example. Sorry, give a bad one for James. Now I'm conscious of it. So Terry is a nice friend. Then he was just making this up. But just say, he said, "No, I'll help you. I'll pick this up and I'll keep this there," right? So in life, as long as you have the body, there is some solution possible for the pain you get. You may choose a legitimate or illegitimate way of dealing with your pain, and we'll talk about it in a second. So, but when death comes, there is no solution to the pain. You have to suffer through that pain. In life, as we get pain one time after another, struggles that they are teaching us how to prepare for the ultimate test. Because the ultimate test is coming. There's no avoiding it. But if we live a life in denial of its upcoming visit, then it's a lot of anxiety in there. Because in order to deny a reality, you have to entertain yourself constantly. This is why it's such a huge entertainment industry. Because people can't focus. So you have to be entertained, or in other words, distracted. Because if you focus, then you will ask these questions. Because there's an inevitable reality. Even a child knows. Even there's no age, like you were saying, they were showing you videos of what was it? What was a video they were showing of the guy being blown up in the head? JFK, right? Yeah, as children, right? In school. Oh yeah, the assassination. Okay, sorry. I'm just brief pieces of things. The students in school, you're learning about it, right? Even as a kid, how old were you when they were teaching about it? Right. So death happens. You've seen so many videos on there, you know what happens. But then you're constantly living. Just imagine if someone's gonna tell you, you work very hard and I'm gonna steal your entire life savings on December 20th, 2029. Will you continue to work like a dog? I was trying to keep some dignity. but but just imagine if somebody said, "I'll take everything you say will be gone on that day." What would you? No, there's no way of avoiding it. I'm just saying it is 100% gonna. It's like
I keep working so I can have a routine going.
You keep working with every. But you'll be completely peaceful that they're gonna take everything away. You wouldn't. No way, right? But that's what death is. Someone saying, "I've given you this nice house, beautiful facility, really nice swimming pool in the back. You have to just stay here for as long as you want. But the only condition is I can come at any time and throw you out of this house, and you'll be homeless, penniless, jobless. But till then, you can do whatever you want in the house." Huh? That's life. That's human body. You have the body, and he said, and the catch is you will never know when it's happening. So can you really enjoy in that environment? Unless if you're in your senses, you can't. If you're not in your senses, you can. But fully conscious, you cannot enjoy in a situation like that. At any moment, someone's going to come and throw me out and take everything I have, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. That would be a pretty anxiety-provoking situation, right? That's what it is. Life is like, you have a body. You don't know for how long you have the human body. You don't know what body you're going to end up in after that. And you don't know where you come from. You don't know where you're going. You just like want to be entertained in the middle of it, intoxicated and entertained. It's a very restless condition. But when we choose to deal with our life's pains and problems according to dharma, according to higher knowledge, by uplifting our consciousness, then that very pain becomes the best friend, the best teacher, and an act of mercy, because it prepares you for the ultimate test of life. It prepares you for that time, because you learn how to take shelter. You learn how to connect, and you learn. It's a great teacher because you learn like your eternal identity. It is an opportunity for you to see that, I'm not from this world, I'm from another place. This is a transition, it's a chapter in a long book. I need to figure out, where is this book going to? Where am I coming from? So then your focus, your activities completely change. You see what I'm saying? Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? Like, yes, somebody can tell you were this in your past life, you were that in your past life. Let's be real. Like, real. If you're real with life, how can you enjoy knowing that this thing's gonna come to an end at any time, unknown to you? I remember I was in Canada, and it was like a really severe ice storm. It was like so cold. Like if it's snow, it's kind of soft, but ice is very risky, and it can, like, snow doesn't kill you, but ice is like an icicle, and one person just died. It was in the news, I remember, because they were entering their home and an icicle fell on their head, and this is finished, because it's like a sharp knife dagger going into your head, right? It's crazy. It's crazy that happened. I'm saying life is so uncertain. Life is so uncertain. So many things can happen at any time. How can you enjoy that unless you're intoxicated and entertained? You see what I'm saying? You see why that industry is so big? So Bhagavad Gita explains there's two kinds of people who enjoy in this world: the complete fools and those who are transcendentalists. Because they have a realization, this is not it all. This is not all of it. There is another reality. As you invest in that higher reality every day, you build your stamina, you chant more, you read more, you regularly increase your reading and chanting. Slowly you start to get a taste, a connection of that reality. And as problems come, those are times to take even further shelter, even greater shelter, and develop a deeper sense of your eternal identity. Don't, like, this is just like a role play kind of. Did you guys ever do that? I know in India we did that a lot, like fancy dress kind of things. I don't know what you call them, but like kids dress up as different characters and they go on stage and then they pretend to be so and so, like
Like
you
a
know.
play.
No, like LARPing. I would explain what it is. Like I don't know what that is, but like like I could have dressed up like. You don't know either.
I know what LARPing is, but I don't know.
It's like I can dress up like a coriander, and then I'm a coriander, or I can dress up like I don't know, a sailor or something, huh? Yeah, like a coriander herb, a cilantro.
Yeah.
You're like a cilantro or a flower or you guys nobody knows what I'm talking about. Weird game, huh?
I still do it some days. Like I dress up like a frog.
Right. You dress up like a frog or a cat or something.
And it's like there's some kind of deep, profound, like I don't know, like it's just like whatever I feel, and it's like there's some kind of like deep, profound meaning tied to like me being that thing. Like I want to get this hoodie that has like a frog face on it.
Right.
And it's like like whenever I think about it, it's like wow, like I'm a frog. Like there's something profound about like me being a frog in this moment. And it's like you just keep kind of like being the character, and then all of a sudden it's like there's this like profound lesson that you get from that, and then you like carry it with you for the rest of your life. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but you have to try it. That's why it sounds ridiculous.
No, it's not ridiculous. It's just my point is. So what is that thing called? Role play? What is it called? A role play?
I'll call it like acting, I guess.
Acting, role play.
Yeah.
So we know this is kind of like a role play. You get a deeper sense. We take my teacher. Another thing he tells me is like, don't take life's problems too seriously. We take it too seriously. Like you were giving the example. Like, what is this problem? Like, whatever the problem is, like, this whole thing is temporary. We're here for but when we don't know the reason why we are here, when we don't know why we are going through this, then pain becomes purposeless. It becomes a suffering. But in life, my friends, real suffering is actually running after desires. One desire conquered is way more powerful than 1,000 desires fulfilled. One of my teachers, he said this point. It's really powerful. You can get so many desires fulfilled, and what happens? It just deepens your idea. You can get what you want, and you keep working and working till all your life's energy, the last breath, is gone. But if you choose in human life, this is the benefit. This is the only power you have. In human life, Krishna doesn't say you won't have desires. He says don't act on those desires. Act on dharma. When you act on desires, it's karma, which is action, reaction, fruitive activities. When you act on dharma, that is actually yoga. You're like connecting with Krishna with every action. So many people might have so many definitions of right and wrong, but dharma is clear. In every situation, dharma is clear. And if you don't know, you know who to ask. You can ask. You can ask and you can inquire. It's like, in every situation, in every difficulty, in every pain, you have an opportunity to grow closer to Krishna. In every situation. Every step is taking you closer. Only you pull yourself away. And that's when you panic, because you're going away from the solution. You're going away from the source. That's when you panic, because you're trying to do the impossible thing. But stress and anxiety is nature's way of telling you you're on the wrong track. It has a purpose. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also explains, he says, Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta. Those who are situated in the mode of goodness, those who are acting in the mode of goodness, they go to higher, Urdhvam, they go upwards to higher planetary system. Madhya tishtanti rajasa. Those who are in the mode of passion, gotta do it, I can work, I can do this. They stay in the middle planetary systems like the earth. Jaganna gunavrittasya, those who are like doing horrible activities. Patantiyada, they fall down to the lowest planets, the hellish planets. It's not one hell or two hells or one heaven or two heavens. Multitude of planets that are heavenly, multitudes of planets that are hellish, and multitude of planets that are middle planetary systems. And there's multitude of universes. The world is very attractive, but if you don't know where you're going, you'll get lost. and you're lost, You can keep driving. It's like exhausting. A rare soul who has actually started to make that transition in this life. I can never forget how you came up to me and you're like, I've been reading that book. I think that's a rare soul, because why would you do that? Why would you just like stop? I think you got off your car. You're like, I have to tell. I've been reading this book, and I was like, can I please record it? This is so good. I want to record it. It was so powerful because the soul's been like, you don't know, but you probably started the journey, another life, and that's why you can pick it up and immediately start reading. Someone might see it, pick a word, and it's like, okay, nice, yeah. But they won't go deeper at that point. We are at different places in our inner evolution too. So it's our duty to push ourselves forward, because in human life you have the ability to push yourself forward. In animal life you can't do it. Let's look at one more verse in the Bhagavad Gita, then we can discuss. It's in the 18th chapter. Let me just pull it up. What verse was it? I think it was 8th chapter. 8th chapter, text 5. I wanted to pick. Antakale chamameva, Krishna says. He gives you the solution too. Antakale, you see it? Page 329. Antakale chamameva, smaran muktva kalevaram. This is a very powerful word. Muktva kalevaram. Kalevaram means body. Muktva means freed from. Muktva means freed from. Kalevaram means body. Krishna says smaram, remembrance. So one who releases this body, is freed from this body when remembering me. Antakale, at the last moment of death, Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Ya prayatati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. Would someone else like to read the translation, like other than me?
And whoever at the end of his life puts his body remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
Yes, please read it. I think
And
all of you are pretty tuned in, so we can read it. Yeah.
In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who puts his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transported to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. The word smaran, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life.
We can stop there for a second. So, thank you. So, one has to become conscious. All of our activities these days, they try to dull our consciousness. See, this is the special power of human body. You can become conscious. I know Quebec, I always remember they're like the logo, Je me souvenais. I don't see it. I don't say French very well, but we will remember. I always like it. We shall remember, or we will remember. I like it because it'd be nice if someone taught us how to remember. Generally, what people sell is how to forget. Forget the struggles of your week. Forget the struggles of your past relationship. Forget the struggles of your life. But we want someone who will help us remember. Why suffer just to forget? Why suffer? Challenges are not our choice. But free will means you can choose how to act. That is a choice you always possess. When you choose Dharma, when you choose Krishna, even the worst of your struggles become a stepping stone for great progress. And they help you build that impression, the time of because it will come. The end will come. But how it comes, where you go next, you can be someone who's just like, like in the pool, someone can just push you in. You just plonk like a bat. But you could just also make a nice dive like they do in the Olympics. You just, like 2-3 times, go around, all that dancey stuff, and then you go into the water. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen anyone dive in that fancy way? You've seen it?
Olympic divers and stuff.
Yeah, this is the worst description of Olympic drivers. The dancing
Fancy
guys.
stuff in midair. The fancy
You know what I'm talking about? Somersault. That's what it is. I was like the dancing stuff that they do. I was like, how do they do
I
it? Right?
love that. I'm gonna start saying
Don't learn English from me. It's not gonna help you. Dancey stuff.
Dancy.
Yeah, like they can do all that nice thing and go, right? It's like, wow. So it's kind of like that. You just want to come like build the consciousness of being a vegetable and go into being like a pumpkin in your next life. Pumpkin's alive too. Some people might be living like a pumpkin, completely like unconscious. Then you don't need a human body. As a pumpkin, you can be more useful, less disturbance to the environment. It's a funny example, but it's a consciousness. The pumpkin's also kind of a consciousness. Pumpkin consciousness. Yeah, koala bear consciousness.
The next time someone calls me pumpkin, I'm gonna think about that.
You're building that consciousness. Just think like you end up like that because you're building that consciousness. So in our life as human beings, this is a special privilege. We can choose how to act to build the right kind of consciousness. So we can pick where we go. We can either go splosh plonk, somebody pushed us, or like dancey divey in the air. That's a choice. That's the human life's gift. So the main, like coming back a full circle, just remember, death doesn't end anything. It's just a change of body. All of those anxieties and struggles and everything you face, they're coming from the mind. And they're carried with you. Not only death doesn't, even the cosmic annihilation, when the entire universal shell is annihilated, filled with fire, then filled with water, every creature is like, even when that happens, it doesn't kill desire. This is why I said 1,000 desires fulfilled are nothing compared to one desire conquered. And the way for that is to not act on those desires and to develop it. You have to consciously choose, I'm going to develop attachment for Krishna. Conscious choice. Otherwise, these desires will just drag you. Even when there's cosmic annihilation and you're like sleeping for thousands and the soul's like resting in for thousands and millions of years, even when you come out after that, you come forth with all your unfulfilled desires to try and get this from the world. This world's going to give me what I want. That idea continues. Only through the light of knowledge can you, and the weapon, Krishna says, detachment and knowledge, determination. Only through that you can cut this root of illusion.